Before we start, has everyone signed in? Yes, yes. No one's saying no. That's great. Welcome to December Student Council. I'm Ilsa. I think there's an introduction from your chair, but I'm going to tell you now. Abdul can't be here today, so you've got me instead. And then for the points at which I have to stand at the front, you'll have Sophia, who's our lovely chair of scrutiny. About the microphones, I remembered, Libby. When you're speaking, please speak into the microphone. It's for the recording and for helping us write the minutes so that we can accurately record what's been said. You don't need to turn them off or on. Our fantastic team at the back will do that for you. All you need to do is speak into it. And if it doesn't work, wait a second, and then it will be turned on. Okay, thank you. Hello, online joiners. Yes, so again, covering for Abdul, and Sophia will do some parts of the meeting. So the first thing that we need to look at is the minutes of the... No, I missed something, didn't I? No, I did. I missed the whole VVOX slide. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. We're going to be using VVOX to vote today, so if anyone doesn't have the code and you think you should have the code to vote, please speak to Hafsa or George. If you want to, I think some people were having some Wi-Fi problems when they first came in, so if you just want to check that that works, please go ahead. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Is everyone managing that okay? Any problems? Okay, no one said any problems, so I'm going to move on. Okay, so the first thing are the minutes of the previous meeting. Does anyone have any objections to the minutes for November's council? Perfect. These are passed, and I get to do this for the first time. That's so exciting. Thanks, guys. Do you think I could do that louder each time? Absolutely. Okay. Next, steering and scrutiny reports. So these are reports from our steering committee, who decide the motions for council, and scrutiny committee, who hold officers to account and make sure that we're working correctly. These reports were sent out ahead of today, and there have been no objections to these, so they pass. That's absolutely fantastic. Sophia, please will you come and take the chair? No, it is on.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. How exciting. Right. So I'm Sophia, and Ilsa's going to say the State of the Union.
Hi, guys. It's me, but in a slightly different format. So this is December's State of the Union report. I deliver this as president. It's a very, very quick turnaround from the council that we just had to this council. It's been about 2-3 weeks maximum, so it's a slightly shorter report than normal. Forgive me. Everyone's continued to work on their pledges as well as their day-to-day duties, and we're starting to wind down until the end of term, with this being our last council of the year. The first thing, me, Sophia and Oliver were away at the last council because we were at NUS England event in Coventry, and simultaneously we voted to hold a referendum to leave the NUS, so that was quite exciting. We also held 2 more student council outreach stalls, which was encouraging attendance at council. Yesterday I chaired our final trustee board meeting of the year, which approves all the motions that we've passed at previous councils. And I've also been the lead sab on our elections planning for the new year, which seems to have come around very quickly, considering we've only been going about 6 months. Lily was supposed to do an amazing speech at Reclaim the Night, but unfortunately it was postponed because of the weather. But it was an amazing event that she was really integral in organising. Getting a smile from Lily. And it was an event that focuses on violence against women and girls in nighttime economy, and all of Lily's fantastic pledges. She's also continued to push the Russell Group Students' Union Survey, which is on the same topic, as part of her pledge work, and opening the petition to make misogyny a hate crime. Gina confirmed our University Challenge team after running successful trials and our fantastic pub quiz, and she's also been assisting external consultants on the student rep review. She's developing the... I don't know why I'm making eye contact with you as I tell you what you've done. Sorry, Gina. She's continued to work on the essay bank, making it more of an assignment bank, and her conference is open for student submissions. Gina and James both attended University Senate while I was away in Coventry. James has carried on his work on housing, as well as encouraging students to make informed decisions about the bills packages that they might take part in when they sign on their houses. Libby and the NUTV team, who are at the back, hi. We've got an NUTV station manager. Hi Grace, welcome. They streamed 2 successful Fight Night events, as well as releasing 2 newspapers, and then a third one on Monday, which will be the last print edition of the year. That's right, yes. Alex is away on annual leave, so she didn't really contribute much to the report, but that's because she's away. She's playing rugby all over the world, which seems very, very exciting. She also held her executive committee, as did all officers, apart from some which are happening after council just because of the way it's fallen. Most importantly, we're finally in December. I hope everyone's feeling prepared for the festive season, however you choose to celebrate it, and then the exam and essay period that might come afterwards. I hope everyone stays safe and warm this winter. If you're staying in Newcastle over the break, remember that we'll be closed from the 22nd of December, and we won't be open again until the 5th of January. Thank you all so much.
Lovely. Does anyone have any objections? If no one has any objections. So exciting. I think we're moving on to the mandates now, so can all the SABs come up and please introduce themselves?
I'm the only one who has a mandate currently. Just ask mandates. Okay. Okay. I think it's just me and you then. Do you want us to introduce yourself?
Yeah, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Gosh, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Hello, everyone. I'm Lily, and I'm the Wellbeing and Communities Officer.
Hello, it's still me. I'm Ilsa. I'm the president.
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm the academic officer.
I'm James, the Opportunities Officer.
And I'm Libby, and I'm the student media officer, and Alex Duggan is the sports officer, and she is in Dubai. She's not in Dubai.
I think you're supposed to update on your work now.
So I only have one mandate to update on, which is the Defend Dissent motion, which passed at last council. I'm up to update my work on it. I'm going to raise it in our meeting with the Vice Chancellor, and I raised it today with, what is his title? Deputy Vice Chancellor Nigel Harkness. So when I have that meeting with the Vice Chancellor and the wider leadership team, hopefully we can get a response from them. But that's the only mandate that I need to update on today.
Hello. I have 3 to update on. I was hoping to do them in September, but I missed my chance, so I'm doing them now. I'm really sorry, they're quite long and boring and they're old. It was part of our council review to keep up to date on these mandates that were passed many years ago, and I'm updating on them now. So the first one was to extend the business school access rights to undergrads at the weekend. I got a statement from the business school, which was, as part of the Sleep Spaces review group, the faculty made the decision and informed the school in January this year that out-of-hours cover for the business school would cease, which meant that from the start of semester 2, the school had to close to undergraduate and postgraduate students from 6:30 p.m. after the last lecture Monday to Friday with no weekend access. The decision was made based on finance, security, usage and need. The school made representation to try to avoid this decision. However, this was not supported, as it was highlighted that access could be supplied 24/7 in other areas across the university. So that's the first one. The second one is even more boring. For the Newcastle University should implement socially responsible licensing of the intellectual property mandate. Increasingly, funders have this requirement in place. We are obliged under the funding terms to include language that is designed to require licensees to attempt to ensure health technologies are accessible to people in low and middle income countries. We will adhere to those terms in any licenses. We have always taken a position in BDE where we have health technologies that would be of benefit to these countries, that we would need to build those terms into licenses. There is maybe a need for us at the next review of the IP policy to consider to incorporate wording around our position on this. So that's a statement from the university on that. Oh, and then I don't have to do the last one. It is okay. Anyone else?
I don't think anyone else has mandates.
Fabulous.
Lovely. So, questions. This is your opportunity to raise ideas, questions or concerns with your elected officers. Please note that anything raised in this section should be directly related to the sabbatical officer's professional remit only. Remain respectful at all times. Does anyone have any questions? Deadly silent. Okay. I think the officers can sit down. Thank you.
Back in the chair. Okay, so we've now got, because it's an end of term report, we've got questions and mandates for the Liberation Officers, chairs and reps. So please could the Libs, chairs and reps stand at the front and introduce yourselves. So this is your opportunity to raise ideas, questions or concerns with your elected student leaders. Please note that anything raised in this section, again, should be directly related to their professional remit only and remain respectful at all times. Yourselves and your job so that people know they're asking the right questions related to your role.
Hi, so I'm Oliver, I'm the Stage 1 Engagement Representative.
Hello, I'm Sophia and I'm the Chair of Scrutiny.
Hello, I'm Hafsa and I'm the Faith or Belief Officer. Students with Faith or Belief Officer.
Hi, I'm Grace, I'm the Marginalised Gender Officer.
Hi, I'm Amy, I'm the Disability Liberation Officer.
Hi, I'm Eleanor and I'm the Ethics and Environment Rep.
Hi, I'm Ashley and I'm the LGBTQ+ officer.
Hi, I'm Shan and I'm the International Students Officer.
Hi, I'm Andrew, I'm Ethnic Diversity Officer.
Any questions for our fantastic Liberation Officers, chairs and reps? Yes, you can ask a question, Oliver.
Hi, Hafsa. So, hang on, let me get it. I need to, right. So you said your biggest achievement was reaching out to the head of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion at the university and highlighting concerns raised by students. What were these concerns?
So, if you don't know, on September 27th, Nick Tenkoni, a far-right extremist and known Islamophobe, had made his way to town, and the university had called this protest a loud event with some policing in town. I raised this query with obviously my sabbatical officer team and also with the university head of EDI when we met them in Warwick. And we raised concerns that Muslim students had said that they do not feel represented nor looked after, nor basically kind of there was no reach out, no communications, no whatsoever, no any sort of sign of indication of looking out for the students' well-being from the university's perspective, because Nick Tenkoni, in and of himself, just to quote something he said, he believes that Muslims are mass migrated, mass imported people with murderous intent to rape, torture and murder native white women. So, and he goes around town with a deport now, I think, mass deportations banner, something along those lines. So to then tell Muslim students and to tell students who are of colour, basically, that town's just a bit loud with a bit of police, I personally feel is endangering. So I kind of spoke about those concerns at the moment, and hopefully we're in some positive dialogue to kind of move forward from there.
Thank you both so much. Does anyone else have any other questions for our Liberation Officers, chairs and reps? Perfect. Thank you so much, Liberation Officers, chairs and reps. You're welcome to go and sit down. Hafsa, do you want me to take the microphone? Thank you so much. Next bit. So the next thing is our officer reports and executive committee minutes. So again, these reports were sent out ahead of today. You should read them if you haven't, because they highlight some of the fantastic stuff that the SABs and the Libs and the chairs and the reps have all been doing this term. If anyone is wondering, there were no Societies exec and AU exec and WALEC between this council and the last council, but the minutes will be made available as soon as they can be after that date. Again, these were passed as there were no objections sent before the start of the meeting. So I get to do this again. And the same again for the Liberation Officer, chairs and reps end of term reports. They were passed with no objections. So I get to bang my gavel again. Perfect. There's a little slide here about motions, because obviously everyone in this room is voting on motions, but you might not know that you yourself can submit a motion. So motions are anything that you want to change and that you want council to debate and vote on. And so if it's passed, you can mandate me, Gina, Libby, Lily, Alex or James to do anything, not do anything, but do anything that is within our remit. So it might mean the creation of a new policy or getting us to work towards something. If you scan this QR code, if you've got something you'd like to change, it'll take you to a JOT form and it'll give you the format for how you can submit a motion. I think it's really exciting when we get motions from people who aren't in this room or people who don't normally submit motions. So if you know someone who's constantly complaining about something, tell them that this is maybe a way that they could change it as well. Yeah. And the February's council, the deadline to submit motions is the 16th of January. So once you've got those essays in, once you've done those exams, get writing those motions, guys. Okay, so we're about to enter our voting page. Does everyone know how to vote? Has anyone had any problems with VVox? Speak now or forever, well, not forever hold your peace, we'll still be here. But, no? Okay. It's time to move on to our ordinary motions. We have 2 ordinary motions to debate today, and they only require a simple majority, which is 50%, to pass. The 2 motions are Motion 201, which is call for the university to address safety and maintenance concerns regarding disabled toilets across campus, and 202, defending the rights of pro-Palestinian students and challenging the weaponization of disciplinary processes. So the first of our motions is the disabled toilets motion. Please can I ask Amy to come up to introduce the motion, and I'll give you a set amount of time to do so.
Is this on? Oh, it is. This one's good.
I've swapped the microphones. Does that matter?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy. I'm the Disability Liberation Officer. And the motion I want to propose this evening is regarding the state of the disabled toilets across campus and the student union buildings as well. Over the past 3 months, I've been basically surveying them, which essentially is just a glorified way of saying I've been going to the toilet. Anyway, they are in abysmal condition. There's no way to go around it. The old library building has a toilet that ejects you when you sit on it. It's disconnected from the floor. The red cords, if you've ever been in a disabled toilet, red cords are there as to trigger an alarm system. And so if someone gets hurt or needs assistance, they can pull it. They need to be accessible at any length. However, somebody, I don't know who, keeps tying them up across campus, across the SU. And that is really dangerous. So I introduce to you this card here. You can't see it much, but these will attach to the red cord cards, and they advise people to not push them. A couple of the toilets across campus have these really polite signs that say, please refrain. These just say stop. Just don't do it. So that's number one. The second thing we would like is to amend the abysmal conditions of the disabled toilets across campus, because it is discrimination how our peers do have access to clean and safe facilities and we don't. And so we would like to make sure, first of all, to investigate whether there is a process in place with the states or the necessary team to look after the toilets, and if this is in place, how we can amend it because it's very clearly not working. And the final thing I'd like to add as well is to transition from dryer-only toilets to also having the option of disposable, biodegradable hand towels. And essentially what this means is students who have sensory aversions to the loud sounds and the heat and just the horrors of those things can essentially use hand towels instead as an option. I got a lot of feedback from disabled students that that's quite looking forward to, essentially because they either have to wipe their hands off themselves or go back in and wipe on toilet paper, and they would just like the option to have dry hands, as everyone else can. So that's my motion.
So much, Amy. Oh, that's so loud. Are there any questions for Amy about the motion? No? Perfect. Amy, you're welcome to sit down. Do you want me to ask to get the code? No, okay, before we open the vote. Thanks so much, Amy. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Lily. That was very supportive. Would anyone like to speak for the motion? Oliver. Oh, yeah, where's the microphone? Oh, we've got a secret audience microphone. Perfect. I'm going to give you just a minute. Is that okay, Oliver, to speak for?
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah. Right, so I think that was a really great motion. I like the use of a prop. That's something I haven't seen in a motion before. We should have more motion with props. That's really good. But yeah, I think it's a really great idea. As a disabled student myself, I've noticed a lot of, I've had a lot of difficulties using and accessing disabled bathrooms, not least in this building where the disabled bathroom that's easiest access from Luther's, I don't think I've been able to access it since March. It's really, with red cords being tied up as well, you're absolutely right to note that as an area of discrimination against disabled students. I think, yeah, we really need, this is a really great motion, one of the best I've seen in a while, and I'm, very happy to vote for it.
Thank you so much, Oliver. I really appreciate that. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Perfect. Should we open the vote? Before we open the vote, please can we have, we think some people may not have the voting code, so can we have, unless you definitely have the voting code and you think I'm wrong, please go to Jay, Casper, Ruby, Shamera, Leo and Jay, go to the George. Go to the George. Just to make sure you've got the voting code. Yes. I can't vote. That's sad. Okay. Is everyone who wasn't sorted? Yes, yes, yes. Let's open the vote. Yay. Is that working for everyone? Is it not working? Laura, it's not working. Nat comes over straight away. Probably a good decision. should be up now, team. Has everyone who wants to vote voted yet? No. No? No. Okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry. This is probably really random, but every time I used to be a teacher at a singing school, and every time I was like, kids, when you're done, just stare really ominously at me, and it works every time. So I'm just going to bring that back. No. Okay, has everyone who wants to vote voted? You're all staring on. See, it works perfectly because now I know. Can we close the vote, please? Will it just show up? That's so exciting. Yay! Yes. So for we have 100%, which is absolutely fantastic, with 33 votes. That is quorum. And we're quorum, guys! Fantastic. So I pass this motion. Woo! This is so much fun. Perfect. Thank you, James. So the next motion is defending the rights of pro-Palestinian students and challenging the weaponization of the disciplinary processes. Please, if I could ask Hafsa to come and introduce the motion. Where's the mic? The mic is there.
So, yeah, should be fine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I'm Hafsa, your faith or belief officer, students of faith or belief officer. And this motion is about defending the rights of pro-Palestinian students and challenging the weaponization of disciplinary processes. So this is obviously following the Defend Dissent campaign as well, the motion, the charter that was passed last council, and it is looking into actively not just defending the right to protest on campus, but also actively protecting the rights of pro-Palestinian students that have been targeted unfairly through the weaponization of disciplinary processes. So the case study that I was looking at actually was of Osama Ghanem, who has had their visa revoked by their university for engaging in pro-Palestinian activism. Even though the university is well aware that if Osama were to be deported, they would be politically persecuted and at the risk of prison, torture, and possibly death. So the Student Council believes that universities across the UK, including Newcastle University, where I've personally been targeted for 3 disciplinary investigations, all of which have resulted in no further actions because I did not do anything wrong. There has been an escalation of formal disciplinaries, threat of sanctions and procedural intimidation aimed at pro-Palestinian and anti-Zionist student activists during the 2024-25 academic year, but also this academic year, as you can see with the SERMA. And we want to make sure that students are able to participate in lawful political protest, including pro-Palestinian activism, without fear of retaliation or targeted disciplinary action, and that especially Osama's case demonstrates how disciplinary and immigration mechanisms can be weaponized against students for their political expression, disproportionately affecting international students whose visas make them uniquely vulnerable. And again, weaponization of disciplinaries or visa powers represents a serious threat to academic freedom, student welfare and democratic participation. And we also believe that the NUS, who we have also voted to hold a referendum for, has a responsibility to ensure that the student protest rights are upheld nationally, including protections for international students. And the results are to express solidarity with Newcastle students internationally who have faced disciplinary actions, and that's the reference there as well. Also to lobby our lovely president to speak to the NUS and raise our concerns. And last but not least, to mandate the president to report back to the Student Council by May 2026. And those are the references there about Osama's case.
Thank you so much, Hafsa. Does anyone have any questions for Hafsa about this motion? No? Perfect. Hafsa, you're welcome to sit down if you want to leave the mic there. I think... No, it's not rolling. It's not rolling. Perfect. Would anyone like to speak for this motion? Ashley? Do you just want to wait until Noah's giving you the mic? Perfect, thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the LGBTQ plus officer. As someone who is involved with activism, both locally and nationally, I think it's really important that we vote this through. It might feel like a really faraway problem. The example used here is Osama. He goes to KCL in London. But this is the first case of someone getting deported or at risk of getting deported for pro-Palestine activism in the UK. And allowing this to happen makes it permissible for other universities to do the same. It's about what we allow them to do without basically making a fuss about it. And the more that we allow, it won't feel as controversial, and it normalizes it. It normalizes deporting people for activism. As someone whose family immigrated to the UK for political reasons, I strongly believe that taking part in lawful political protest without fear of repercussion is something we should all have the right to do. I've met so many other people who are afraid to speak up or attend a protest because they might get their visas revoked. And every single time someone tells me that, my response is always, that's a really valid concern. But it never should have been in the first place. That never should have been the case.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate you speaking. Thank you, Noah, for getting the mic. Would anyone like to speak against this motion? If you don't mind introducing yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Eliana. I'm a Jewish student at the university. I'm not representing anything or anyone but myself. I saw this motion and I have a couple of concerns about it. It seems to imply that students who are involved in pro-Palestinian activism should not be undergoing disciplinary procedures and that sort of thing if there is alleged cases of anti-Semitism. I don't think any student should be above the student code of conduct, or in the case of the student that's dealing with immigration, in that case above the law, because that is above the university procedures. Any alleged breach of student code of conduct, regardless of what it is, should be investigated, and if the outcome of that investigation is no further action, then that is how it should be. But any alleged case should still be investigated. And I say that as someone who has been the victim of a malicious complaint myself in the past. If there's anti-Semitism occurring on campus and because it's at a pro-Palestinian protest or rally, which I think they should be allowed to go ahead, I do want to make that clear. But if there is anti-Semitism happening, then it should be reported and it should be investigated. If this motion passes, my worry is that what are the protections for Jewish and Israeli students on our campus? How are they feeling safe, as well as allowing the pro-Palestinian protest to go ahead as well? Additionally, my understanding of the event regarding... Can you go back a couple of slides? Sorry, one more. Yeah, my understanding, and I only received the papers for this motion yesterday afternoon, so I've not had a lot of time to research this. But my understanding of the event with Osama Ghanem, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, was that there was disruption of a protest of a external speaker from Iran regarding peace initiatives in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. My understanding of what happened was that there was intimidation and protests and chanting that completely disrupted the event, forced the external speaker to what's the word I'm looking for? to go to another room for their own safety. The whole event had to be cancelled. That sort of thing shouldn't be happening. I'm aware that the chants that were used at that event are considered anti-Semitic by 95% of British Jews, according to polling by the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. I think that I think that any alleged anti-Semitism should be investigated, and it's for Jewish students who were at that event in KCL, which I had nothing to do with, I was not there. But if they felt intimidated, scared, pressured that there was anti-Semitism going on, then that should be investigated. In this case, the result of that investigation was determined that there was anti-Semitism going on, that therefore, according to the Student Code of Conduct, if that process was followed correctly, which again, I don't know if there was or wasn't, but as long as the Code of Conduct is followed as it should be, then fuck around and find out, for want of a better explanation. I think...
Eliana, if you don't mind if I just finish you there, just so everyone's getting an equal chance to speak, but you're welcome to speak against afterwards. Would anyone like to speak again for the motion? I'll ask it. Grace? I'd just ask it to be 2 minutes. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm the Marginalised Gender Liberation Officer. Just in regards to that, obviously, completely agree that any case of anti-Semitism should be addressed, and people that are being anti-Semitic should face disciplinary procedures. But this is specifically about pro-Palestinian activism. And in the case of Usama, it actually wasn't necessarily anti-Semitism that was the issue. The event that he was lobbying, it was a pro-Israeli speaker and an actually pro-genocide speaker. That is why he was lobbying the event. And I think regardless of his actions, even though he wasn't himself anti-Semitic, let's say for argument's sake that he was, why should he be deported for that? He is going to be deported back to a country where he might be murdered, where he's going to face political oppression. I don't think that... I think this motion is about protecting students, and we have seen over the past years that pro-Palestinian students specifically are being targeted. We've seen it here in the university, as Hafsa said, she's faced 3 disciplinaries for very minor things that are clearly an attack specifically on pro-Palestinian activism. I think that we can simultaneously have a space where we are targeting anti-Semitism and also protecting pro-Palestinian students and not targeting them. I also think as well that by setting the precedent, as they have done with Usama, where students can be deported for political action, it goes far beyond Palestinian action and Palestinian resistance. This can be applied to anything. What's to say that any other protest, if there's a student on a visa leading it, they can't be deported? This isn't solely about protecting pro-Palestinian students, even though it's the root of it, and I think it is something that we need to advocate for a lot, because we are seeing pro-Palestinian students under attack, and at this university specifically. But this also is about protecting international students on visas, who are at such a high risk, and we are seeing them being targeted by universities for their activism. And what's to say that this targeting of international students ends solely with pro-Palestinian activism?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Grace. Would anyone else like to speak against the motion? I'll again limit it to about 2 minutes. Please introduce yourself before you start talking.
Hi, my name is Shan and I'm the International Students Officer. I'm not speaking for or against, but I have just one question. Is it about defending the rights of a student, or is it about defending the rights of a person who is from another country and protesting on a different issue? And
speaking for or against the motion?
One question, it's not about a for or against.
And who's the question directed to, sorry?
Yeah. I'm confused, so that will help to clarify our vote.
We've passed the time for questions, so you can either you can speak against the motion if you would like, but that's fine. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak against the motion? Eliana? Thanks, no way. Again, just 2 minutes, if that's okay, please.
I just sort of how, and this is it's against the motion, but it's also partially a question. How related are the UK legal pathways for citizenship of this country or living in this country, like having a visa, specifically to the university? Because as in, visas have conditions, right? And again, this is not my area of expertise, but visas have conditions for being in this country, a student visa. And when the visa runs out, you have to return to your country or get a job or whatever it is. And it's more, I don't know in this specific case or what particularly this motion actually means in terms of that whole thing, whether it's law, whether it's student code of conduct. I don't know. It's more a question, or a rhetorical question.
Would anyone like to speak for the motion? Hafsa, thank you. Go ahead. Again, just 2 minutes, please, and I will start to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So just addressing the points that you've raised there, I would also like to clarify, Osama was not being disciplined for anti-Semitism, he was being disciplined for health and safety conduct breach, which the KCL's own investigation concluded that he did not breach health and safety conditions. This is why I am proposing this motion against, this is to do with, that's just clarification as to why he was disciplined. And regarding the UK legal pathways and university, Osama's visa is being revoked because he protested. As students, we should have the freedom to protest. We do not see fit. That also includes speakers who have made fun of murdered babies. That includes that. And even should there be a student health and conduct safety risk, that would not translate into deporting someone when they are at political risk of persecution. In the Novara Media article, you can see that at the age of 16, Osama Ghanem was actually held in prison, in Egyptian prisons, and he was diagnosed with PTSD because of the experiences he went there. His family has been politically persecuted. KCL is well aware of this. Considering all of that, and considering their own investigations concluded there was no breach of health and safety, and he followed the student conduct in that sense, is it really fair to put him at risk of death just because you've got a procedure that is flawed and unjust?
Thank you, Hafsa. I'm going to ask for one last speaker against the motion, if anyone would like to, and then we'll take it to the vote. Would anyone like to speak against the motion for a final time? Perfect. Okay, we'll take that to a vote. Thank you all so much for speaking so passionately on both sides. Is the vote working for everyone? The QR code. It'll close. Oh wait. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it on paper if you want it. Yeah, we've got it on paper, I mean. But I can't come to you. You sure? Thanks, Nat. Again, just stare at me aggressively when you're all done. Oh my god! It does work, though. You're good, Megan? Voted? Success? Perfect. Has everyone voted who would like to vote? Is there anyone who's still waiting to vote? Perfect. Okay, the vote is closed. So the motion has passed with 87.5% in favour, 28 people, and 12.5% against 4 people. So this motion is now passed. So we now move on to constitutional motions. Constitutional motions propose slightly more significant amends or creation of new documents for the Students' Union Constitution. and they're introduced by students who propose it and debated on similarly. But the motions we've just gone through needed 50% to pass. This needs a 2/3 majority to pass. So this motion, the only constitutional motion that we have, is to reduce the number of meetings that current liberation officers attend. If I could ask Lily, please, to come and introduce the motion. And again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, if that's okay. Mike's just there.
Hi everyone, I'm Lily and I'm the Wellbeing and Communities Officer. So I'd like to preface first of all that liberation officers are students who take this up voluntarily, so they are giving their time to these roles, and everything that they do is in their spare time. So that's the first point. We're also very mindful that because of this, students are also going to lectures, going to seminars and doing their own work. This also means that while they're doing this, they have to attend a certain amount of meetings per year within their role. Acknowledging that the capacity that they have and the time they have may be limited, I feel it's really important to make sure that liberation officers are in the right rooms at the right times, and to ensure that there are not these extra rooms which they have to go to as a duplication. So we have WALEC, which stands for Wellbeing, Actions and Liberation Executive Committee, and we also have Officers Forum. Now, these two meetings have majority of the same attendees, and there's a lot of overlap between them. WALEC is used for these fabulous students to come in and speak on issues that they or the students they intend to represent may be experiencing and facing, and unfortunately it seems that when we go to Officers Forum, it's a mass duplication. The idea behind getting rid of this is to ensure that all of these amazing conversations can happen, and then with the extra time that we would then have, things can actually be done with them. If there's ever a time that these students would like to go through anything, speak to a certain person, I have no problem in facilitating that, and I also have no problem in asking one of the sabbatical officers to come for the last 5-10 minutes of WALEC to answer or be a part of any sort of narrative that involves them. So yeah, I just think it's really important to make sure that our fabulous liberation officers aren't stretched too thin, and that the work that they're doing is being channeled into the right spaces, which I believe can adequately happen without the addition of Officers Forum. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lily. And may I say, bang on 2 minutes. Very impressive. Don't sit down yet. Does anyone have any questions for Lily about her motion? No, perfect, Lily. You're welcome to go sit down. And would anyone like to speak in favour of this motion? Oh, Gina. Sorry, thank you. Didn't see your hand. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Gina. I'm the academic officer, so obviously I sit in on Officers Forum with the liberation officers. It just makes sense to cut out the meeting, because if the liberation officers wanted to speak to me, they feel comfortable coming to speak to me. I feel comfortable coming to speak to them. So what normally happens is we will have met to discuss the issue separately anyways, and then we go to the meeting and we have nothing else to discuss because we've already met about it separately. So yeah, I think it saves everyone time and stress, and it makes total sense to get rid of it.
Thanks so much, Gina. Would anyone like to speak against this motion? Okay, if no one would like to speak if no one would like to speak against this motion, we'll go straight to the vote. And again, this needs 2/3 majority to pass. Is the vote okay for everyone? Perfect. Third time's a charm. Did I gavel the gavel last time? Has everyone who wants to vote voted? Or is there anyone who's still waiting to do so? No? Okay. Laura, please could we close the vote? Perfect. So I keep saying perfect like I'm having an opinion. I promise I'm neutral. I just like the word perfect. So the motion has passed with 96.67% in favour and 3.33% against. So this motion is now passed. keep doing that slightly too loudly. So the next section of our student council is election for positions selected by council. So we've got places on Wellbeing, Action and Liberation Executive, Steering and Scrutiny, but that's spoilers for later. If Lily could please come up to the front and just introduce WALEC. And we've got 3 spaces available. So if what Lily's described sounds really interesting to you, then let us know. But I'll tell you that after.
Hi everyone, back again. WALEC is a great place for you to come to and speak about anything that's directly affecting you or someone that you know. It allows you to speak safely and freely in an environment that's welcoming, and it's always very respectful. All and any opinions are welcome, and even if perhaps you don't like to have the loudest voice in the room, that's totally okay. You'll always have your opportunity to speak, or if you'd rather speak to me at the end or outside of that room, you're welcome to do that too. I think this is a really great opportunity if you'd like to have some serious impact, not only in that room but across the SU and the entire campus, because what we speak about in there really can lead to some amazing change. So if that interests you, I would really strongly encourage you to come. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lily. I really appreciate that. If anyone is interested in joining WALEC, please come to the front now, and we can take your name, and then you can just briefly introduce yourself. It's okay if you don't want to also. Final call for WALEC. Okay, perfect. Well, sorry, I keep saying perfect. I've like stuck to it now. So the next election for selected by council is steering committee, which is the absolute bee's knees, guys, because I am in charge of steering, and we have the absolute most fun ever, don't we, Aradia? Don't we, Leo? Don't we, Oliver? Oliver's not here, no! Oh. Oliver has the most fun. We spend a lot of time talking about full stops. Yes. So basically, actually, seriously, what steering is, we decide the motions that go to council and make sure that they're well written, properly formatted, and that what they're asking the proposer, the sabbatical officer to do, etc., is within the remit of council. So not asking for us to scale the Empire State Building, because that's just not something we can do. I don't know why that came to mind. There's one place available on steering because it's so popular and we're nearly full. But if anyone is interested in being part of steering, please, again, come to the front, and we will take your name. There are 2 steering meetings before council. So first steering, we look at the motions and send notes back to the proposer. And then the second steering, we look at those notes and just double check everything's okay. So there's 3 more councils next year. So there'll be 6 steering meetings, and they are no longer than an hour. So 6 hours max. I'm a very fast chair. I don't know if you've noticed, guys. Oliver, don't you love steering? Don't you love steering? Would anyone like to be part of steering? No worries if not, but we'd love to have you. Okay. No. Okay. It is good fun. No worries. You just look a gift horse in the mouth, guys. Horse joke. Did it? Yes! Oh, George is smiling. George is happy. Okay, final council position that you could be elected for is scrutiny committee. So if I could ask Sophia, my deputy chair, to come and introduce scrutiny, please.
Well, if those 2 aren't grabbed you, this one won't. Basically, we're holding all the officers to account. Yeah, we have some interesting meetings. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
What a fantastically vivid description of what scrutiny committee looks like. Thank you, Sophia. There's one place available on scrutiny. If anyone is interested, please make yourself known. Dylan, you wanna join scrutiny, Dylan? No. You are so lucky that didn't get said into a microphone. Okay, no takers? No takers? What a shame. No elections this time. No, I lied. I lied. We have a fun, special Christmas election. So, our elections for my job, every other sab, every lib in the room, the elections happen for that in March. And we have to elect... Oh no, I said I was going to let you do that, don't I? Okay. We have to elect a senior returning officer who makes sure that Laura, who's our junior returning officer, doesn't do anything wrong and that the process is fair. So it's someone to raise complaints to if you complain to Laura and you weren't happy with how the complaint was handled. So this is in order to ensure a fair election process. Tom, a little bio about Tom. He's works at the university as head of enterprise marketing, and he's done 10 years. This will be his 10th year as senior returning officer if he is elected. He's supported the process and candidates well. So this is, we don't have to vote on it. If there are no objections to Tom being elected, it will be passed. So are there any objections for Tom to be elected as the senior returning officer for our 2026 election period? Perfect. Passed. Congratulations, Tom. I don't know where you are, but you're here. And oh, I've stuck those together. I know, isn't it nice? So, senior returning officer we just elected. But what you might not know is, it's nearly time to register your interest to do my job. This could, well, this couldn't, oh no, this could be you next year. Chair of Council is an elected position. You can register your interest between the 20th of January to the 4th of February to become a sabbatical officer, a liberation officer, or a chair. Sabbatical officer positions are full-time, paid, graduate roles, and are really, really... Oh, thanks, Laura. They're really, really exciting. I mean, all the SABs in the room can attest how exciting it is. You get to do so much stuff as a sabbatical officer that I can't imagine you get to do in any other graduate role. There are a list of exciting things on this board, but in bold you can see champion issues that are important to you, your friends, and other students. It is really an opportunity to make change, make a difference, and make sure that students' voices are heard in all rooms across campus. Yes, it's really exciting, and I'd love someone cool to do my job next year. And like the bottom says, you're already an expert in student experience, so you've already got the skills that we're looking for. Do you want to talk about liberation officers, Laura?
Thank you. Also available in the elections next year is an opportunity to run as one of our liberation officer roles. So you've heard a little bit from our liberation officers tonight. You'll have an opportunity to read their end of term reports to understand a little bit more about what they get up to, what's possible in the role. But really with the liberation officer roles, you have a lot of support to really make the role your own. We're looking for students who identify as being part of one of these communities in bold, and really it's a great opportunity to meet like-minded people and to get some great experience on your CV and to make that really impactful change to your community. We also have, as Ilse said, chair roles available, so if you do fancy doing the job of chair of council or chair of scrutiny next year, then you can run for that position in our elections process. Again, it looks great on your CV. These are very professional positions, and you have a lot of support. So I would always be next to you if you're chairing a council meeting. I hope Sophia feels supported this year as scrutiny chair. So do consider it. And I just put this little collage together the other day, like it's cute, but I did it because I really wanted to kind of infuse a bit of the energy that happens in that voting week. It's such a fun experience to be part of. We always have candidates say whether they win or lose that they really enjoyed the experience, so do consider it because it's a lot of fun. Ilse, did you want it? Yeah.
And the last thing we'll be voting on in this election period in March is the NUS referendum. So this was after the vote that we had at last council. We'll be holding an early NUS referendum. and this is a ballot on our continued affiliation with NUS. We need people to campaign on both sides of the issue. So if you're really, really passionate that we should remain affiliated to the NUS, or you're really, really passionate that we should leave the NUS, you can speak to Laura now if you're interested in it, and then we'll be running like a formal collection of interest between the 2nd and 5th of February, and then you'll get some training on how you can campaign, what you can do, what you can't do, and yeah, make sure that your voice can get heard, and make sure that students are informed on their choices about whether we stay or leave the NUS. So those are the last of our elections, but I just want to really hit home that message that being a SAB is super fun. Being a Lib, I can't speak for it because I've not been a Lib, but it's really fun. It's a great way to make change. It's great in your CV. And for me, it was just a chance to get to stay in Newcastle and be part of this union and uni like another year. So if that's something you're not kind of ready to let go of, it could be a fantastic opportunity for you. And you can also speak to our fantastic Laura if you've got any questions about the role, or you can grab any of us, grab a SAB at any point if you like. Perfect. The next thing is student notices. So if anyone's got anything that they'd like to share, upcoming events, about your society, as a student. Oh, hello, student media. Hello, Libby Griffiths. Would you like to share a student notice? Banned, not allowed to speak. Sorry.
Hello? Yes. Okay. The Courier are hosting a student gig night on Thursday, the 19th of February, called New Sue Sessions. One of our wonderful student bands, Pearly Gates, is headlining in this venue. Stop distracting me. We've currently got a call out open for bands and artists and solo acts. So if you know anybody studying at the university that makes beautiful music, tell them to sign up for it. We will soon be opening applications for photographers and student journalists to help cover the event. It's going to be really fun. Whether you want to sing on stage or do some of the journalism stuff or just attend, please do come along. It's going to be really fun.
Oh. Thank you so much, Livy. I think New Sue Sessions is going to be super exciting, and I will be there. Are there any other student notices? Anyone who'd like to share anything? Oh, Hafsa has a hand. Hafsa, are you there? Where are you? There you are. Oh, what? Does this happen now? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was wrapping up. Did you just turn it off? Why did you just turn it off? Can I give her mine? No? Yes? Yes.
Hi guys, I'm Hafsa once again, and we have the prizes for this council's lucky draw. So can I get a drum roll rolling, please? A bit louder. So for third place, we have got Eileen. You've won some amazing vegan goodies. So I'll come over and hand it to you. Yeah? No worries. Thank you. No worries. Another drum roll, guys, and a round of applause. Sorry. For second place, we've got Dylan. You've also won some nice vegan goodies. They're really nice, actually. I want some now.
They're not vegan.
Oh?
They have beeswax. This is something. Give them to Libby Griffith.
Hey, Libby. I did not buy that. Final drum roll, please, guys. Moving swiftly on. We have got a £20 co-op voucher, so I need a bit of a... Yeah. And the winner is Jay Hargreaves. while I'm up here, I actually do have another announcement that I've just remembered. If you don't know, I'm also the secretary at ISOC, which is the Islamic Society at Newcastle University. Given the rise in Islamophobic narratives in the media by Reform and other parties, we are holding our Islamophobia Awareness Month Islamophobia training. And the post should be up on our social media. There's a link to register. So if you can register, it's for next Wednesday at 1 p.m. in the Henry Dage. We'd love to have you there, inshallah.
Oh, Dylan, do you have a notice? But you have a mic, so you can do that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Another. Oh no, the coffee. Oh, this is horrible. My notice is that I've just spilt my coffee over. No, just another student media related notice is that the Courier will be, as ever, opening up applications again in January for new additions to the team. We've got a couple of sections that need reinforcements, and it's always nice to have new faces around the place. So if you're interested in joining the Courier, please do stay tuned on our social media, and we will announce it in due course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dylan. Oh, there are so many notices.
Wait, who do I go?
I saw Oliver's hand first. Sorry, Meg. Is that okay? I'll just talk really loudly. I think it'll be fine.
Right, okay. I'm Oliver, I'm the welfare officer for the Socialist Society, and I've got two announcements. First of all is that we've officially changed our name from the Labour Society to the Socialist Society now. The rebrand has gone through, it's official, so I'm all very excited about that. And secondly, as of this Monday, we've officially doubled our membership from last year, which we're all very excited about. So if you are a leftist student on campus, please join the Socialist Society. It's a really great space. We had one of our most well-attended socials on Tuesday this week. It's going really well, so yeah.
Does it work if I have it balanced like this? That's so exciting. Megan, would you like to announce your announcement?
Hello everyone, I'm Megan, Head of Communications for NSR. I'm here on podcast business actually. Podcasts for NSR, our applications are still open. They are still open, so if you would like a podcast, please go to NSR's Instagram or contact our Head of Podcast, Charlotte Atkinson. Also, we have an updates column in the paper. This is the, I guess, final chance for anyone that has any updates about societies. Please let me know. If they could be dated from Monday the 8th of December onwards, I'd be very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. If it's okay with everyone, I'm going to pass back over to Sophia to chair the last bit of Student Council, which is our open debate, on account of it's my graduation tomorrow, and I'd quite like to go and see my mum and dad and my dog. And if anyone is on campus at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I will be there with my dog. No. Well, I won't be there at 10 a.m. with my dog. Libby will be there at 10 a.m. with my dog because she is looking after him. I'm sorry, that's probably not something a chair should say, but I've said it. Happy graduation, me. Sophia, if you don't mind taking the floor, I'm going to go home. Oh, thank you so much for having me as your temporary chair of council, by the way. I had so much fun. Thank you.
I'm back. Okay. James, please could you introduce the debate?
Oh, do you want to use it? Is it on?
Oh, is it off? Oh, we've got another one.
So today's open debate is
that we as a council must decide whether we think that voting in local and national elections should be mandatory. I.e., we would move in line to something like they have in Australia, where if you do not vote in your local elections and national elections, you will receive a fine. So, does anyone have any sort of opinions to get us started on the idea of having sort of... Well, personally, I think engaging in democracy is fundamental to our society, and that if you are not voting, then you are not demonstrating a willingness to participate within your nation and wanting to improve what's going on around the place. And voter apathy is such an issue that we face nationwide and have done for years.
So I'm very much interested in trying to increase the number of people who are voting in elections. You know, our last general election was one of the worst percentage turnouts in our electoral history. And I'm glad you mentioned Australia, because it is true that introducing fines has massively increased the percentage of the population who turns out to vote. In the last federal elections earlier this year, more than 90% of the population turned out to vote, which is about a third above us. Just under, but yeah. However, I don't think that introducing fines and punishing people for not voting is the way forward. I think that not turning up to vote is a perfectly legitimate democratic expression, as much as voting is. And I think that there's a few issues with it. I think the most potent one is that if only one party runs in your seat, should you be forced to vote for them or risk a fine, which is a massive one. But also, I think when we think who actually doesn't have the time to vote, it's normally working class families who don't have the time to take off work, or just don't have the energy after work to get down to the polling station and vote. Not all of us have a very, very local polling station. I was lucky too, but if not, I'm not sure if I would have been able to make it. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think that the people that actually ends up punishing are poorer people in our society, and the ones who, it's just not a good idea in general, and even then, the incentive only really impacts the people who are worst off. Yeah.
This has gone off. Yeah, I have to choose who speaks. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Dylan?
Thank you. Look, I think the reason why we had such low turnout in the last election was because the vote was essentially between starve all the children and sell loads of arms to Israel, blue, versus starve all the children and sell loads of arms to Israel, red. I think there's massive political apathy in the country, and there's low voter turnout to match, because there is no hope of anything. And look, you know, the country is fundamentally broken, and people recognise that. People recognise that all throughout their lives. We're recognising it right now. And look, I don't want to say, look, you have to vote between Keir Starmer and Nigel Farage, otherwise we'll fine you £100, you know. It's just not right, man. And, you know, they can turn up and vote for the smaller parties, or they can turn up and spoil their ballot, and that'll mean they don't get fined, but, you know, they're just not going to do that, though, are they? Like, if there's political hopelessness in the country, people just don't vote. And I think that's fine. It's fine, man. Don't take their money away. Come on.
Thank you for that wonderfully mystic approach. Could we have the person on the left, please?
I'm Noah. I'm the head of sport for the Courier, and I completely agree with what everybody has said. But speaking on an international student point of view, if you don't know what you're voting for, I don't think that it should be fair on people who don't know who they're voting for to go vote and then have a hypothetical bad effect on the election. As Dylan has said, I would rather not vote than get fined for not having to have voted between, who'd you say? Exactly. So yeah, that's just my point of view.
Lovely. Can we pass it to the left, please?
I'm Ruby, I'm Head of Life and Style at the Courier, and I think that a large reason for the lack of voter turnout is partially, like Dylan said, a sense of hopelessness, but also a lack of education in terms of politics in schools. I think a lot of people reach voting age think that politics happens in Westminster and doesn't happen in their lives, and I can't speak for the national curriculum, but I went to a faith school and our PSHE/citizenship curriculum wasn't in line with the national one because faith schools don't have to conform, and I had zero political education. And I'm very privileged to be in a position where I've educated myself, but not everyone has the opportunity to do that. And imposing fines for people not voting just means that people either go and vote for somebody they don't actually believe in, or vote against their best interests because they don't understand what or who represents their best interests.
Lovely. Can we pass the mic to Leo, please?
Hi, I'm Leo, and I'm sorry if I get uncharacteristically angry about this, because this is something I feel really strongly about. I've never been able to vote in my entire life. Like, it really upsets me when I see people have the opportunity to vote and they don't, because you don't understand how valuable and how powerful that is. I've lived in the UK since I was 16. I'm not a British citizen, so I can't vote. I can't vote in my home country because they don't tell you how to do it if you don't live in the home country. And when I emailed my embassy and I said, hey, there's a military dictator running this election, can I vote? They were like, nope, you'd have to fly back to Indonesia. Now, for context, it cost me £2,000 to do that, and it's physically demanding, dangerous, and exhausting for me as a disabled person. I don't know if I would go as far as to say voting should be mandatory, partially because I believe that like a carrot is a more efficient like incentive than a stick. If you know like the thing I'm talking about, if you try to force people to do it, they won't do it. But it upsets me so much when I hear other people say that they don't vote because they don't think it'll make a difference, or they don't think they hold power as an individual. It's the collective mindset of everyone in that position that leads to change never happening. And as you can probably tell, this is something I feel really strongly about because I've just not had the right to vote my entire life.
Would anybody else like to speak on the debate? Oh, Hafsa, sorry.
Wait, who do
I didn't see you there.
What I would like to comment on is just a quick reflection, and I think people, especially now, there's a real threat to the two-party system with the surprising party led by Zach Polanski that has gained over 100,000 members in less than 2 months, which is revolutionary, really. It's very hopeful, and it just makes us realize that the reason why people are participating in it is not necessarily just because they don't like Labour or Conservatives or Tories. It's because they are finding that sense of hope. And I think, reflecting on all that was said, we need to improve our political education, but also in universities we have a really good opportunity to try and educate. Like we mentioned that international students might not know who they can and can't vote for. As students who might be more politically literate, we should be encouraging others to vote, who to vote, not necessarily who to vote for, but the different campaigns and why you should vote for a particular party if you believe so, and things like that. I think when it comes down to mandating something, I'm never in favour of making something mandatory, but when it comes to voting in local and national elections, I think the more personal we make it, the more we'll get a turnout. So just
Would anyone else like to speak on the debate? Oh, Grace at the back.
Hello, I'm Grace, NUTV. So just to kind of go back to mainly the central debate, because I think we've spoken about some really good subjects, but kind of just to kind of get back to the central point. Every time someone goes to vote, they're making an informed choice. It's regardless of what party you're voting for. have a set of ideas and you're like, I am, like, personally, I am putting down the X next to this name and I've chosen that. But if you make it mandatory to people, and if they're, you know, they've got time constraints or whatever, they're just going to put X next to any box, and maybe it wouldn't sway things in the grand scheme of things, but still, people would just be putting X's willy-nilly, and, you know, it could totally... tiny little stuff like that really swings elections. So, I mean, yes, that's a, you know, maybe an overthinker's point of view, but, like, if you make it mandatory, people are not going to make an informed decision. You know, people should have the choice to make the choice, if you know what I mean. So that's why I don't think it should be mandatory.
Any last people for the debate? No? James, can you summarise, please? Has Oliver got your mic?
So it seems that there's been a fairly strong consensus that making people vote probably isn't a good idea, but that it actually encouraging more people to vote and be more engaged politically is the way that we improve voter engagement and engagement in politics in this country and around the world. And that although it's not right to make people vote, people shouldn't be wasting their votes, and voting is a privilege and something that should be used by all people regardless. And that we need to improve our education, for our political education in this country, and explain the value of democracy and everything. I think that pretty much summarises it.
Excellent. Next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see, these are council dates for the rest of the year. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully we'll see you all at the next one. I hope you have a lovely Christmas break. Yeah, and thank you for coming.